good morning. How is everybody? Happy Tuesday. It is I, your hostess with the hottest coffee around, Laurie Calcaterra. Can't even say my own name correctly today. Writer, creator of Path of the Pale Rider. All of the good things. We've so much stuff today to talk about, and I'm super excited that you're here with me. Abbo, good morning. I'm so glad you asked. I got a restock. Good morning. So I roasted some. This is Colombian. It's a dark roast Colombian, which I roasted myself. And then, of course, my own personal coffee creamer, which is coconut cream, vanilla, and then it's like a chai. I add all sorts of stuff to it. Yes. Good morning, everybody. I hope you all have your coffee. We're in for a wild ride today. And not only just because I hit the surge button and turned off my computers like 10 minutes before the show started. That was fun. I was supposed to be logging in and resetting the whole thing. So I'm a little manic. Welcome to the show. But let's recap. Path of the Pale Rider issue 7 closed on, well, somewhat closed. On Kickstarter, we ended at 6,666. That is not a joke. That really happened. Colombian beans. Just checking because you never know with Laura. Yes, Colombian beans. Beans. What did I say? Probably something wrong. Probably something wrong. Colombian beans, which I roasted. I'm not drinking people. I can drink your tears, but I'm not drinking people. Yeah, back to the show. So I just wanted to say thank you, of course, to everybody that backed and shared and liked and podcasted with me, that showed up to the podcasts, all of that, wondrous stuff. It was 3 weeks of just craziness. You know how I roll. When the campaign is live, I try to be live every day and sometimes multiple times a day. I think I did 4 podcasts on one of the Tuesdays. And so, I push hard, but as you can see, we see results. We actually have had 2 late backers. So I just want to say there is still a chance to get some books on here. The merch is all turned off because, of course, I have to order. So you can't get any merch at this point, but you can still get books. And please remember that this is the big one. We are going into the undead retirement community. June St. Clair is rocking this undead look. It's not becoming of Jude. I don't know. Do you guys like this look on him? This new fashion, this new style? It's gonna be a bad day, you guys. We got to strap in for this one. And like I said, you might throw your book at the end. You're definitely going to pick it up to keep reading. And I recommend maybe reading it a couple times because there's a lot happening real fast that you are going to read this so fast you won't believe that you're through it. And so go back and read it again. There's going to be a lot of stuff hiding in the background in this one. So I'll drop the link again. If you missed campaign, you can still get those books. Here's the linky Lou. Hi, Red. Good morning, everybody. Everybody's awake and hanging out for coffee. Lou Pons is here. Red is here. Uncle Carl is here. Such a compliment when I mean, it is to me because that means that that the emotion hits. You know what I mean? Because I'm going for an emotion here. And so I'm going to make sure that if you don't throw your book, you're going to be like, and then catch it. And yes, she drinks the tears of Colombians. Hey, speaking of Chad Perkins, I have an announcement to make. Chad and I are not getting married. Chad is married. I am married. That is not the announcement. However, Path of the Pale Rider, specifically the trade, I had publishing rights with ASAP Imagination overseas. They're kind of doing a reorganizing right now. And so I got those rights back. And it was a great conversation because I was like, oh, Chad, by the way, I'm, getting released from publishing. He's like, for what? And I said, for Path. And he said, hang on just a second. And then this happened. That's it. Did you guys see it? Did you get it? Rolling Squid Bones is the new home for Path of the Pale Rider. Hooray! And he wasn't joking. Like, I haven't even sent him the files yet. So new. It's on my list, Chad. It's on my list. We'll get it done. Hopefully this week. It'll start to clear up this week. Anywho, I want to showcase some more projects that are live right now, but I'm going to bring my guest in so we can kind of show them together, because ultimately I want to show off his campaign as well. So I'm going to welcome in Fish Lee, my friend, my confidant, my muse, my intentional friend, my beta reader and test driver, crash test dummy when it comes to my own riddles and things. Hey, good morning.
Riddles and codes and such all.
Which, by the way, I did a deep dive into your books this morning, and I had a blast, first of all. Second of all, in issue 2, I found quite a few QR codes, so I'm excited to talk about.
There's more than people think. A lot of people found one, and are like, oh, I found it. That's not it. That's not all that's in there.
I know exactly which one you're talking about, because I feel like we had that same moment where it's like, here's the distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, it'll get you a chuckle, but then it's like, there's something else there if you dig deeper. And so I did. I was looking around and I was like, aha, here it is. And so that was the number 2 one. And then, of course, there was a number 3 one in the book itself. So, anywho, we'll get to that. But I don't know if it's like Summertime Slam or what it is about Kickstarters in the summertime. Is this like prime time, you think? Or like when is prime time for Kickstarters?
I think basically anything but like the very end of the year, like December and January tend to be pretty slow. Everything else seems to be busy because like every time I've got a friend or I've got a book on or something, there's just a million other cool books out there at the same time.
Right. And like I have a whole slew of them I want to just type through real quick. And of course I reset my computer, so I had them all.
Had everything pulled up.
Everything ready. And it's gone. So everybody knows my friend Carissa Grant has so many amazing books. This one here is live. This is her Western issue number 3. And she just when was her first issue of this? Was it this year or the end of last year? Like it's still like less than a year old and she's on issue 3.
If it's issue 3, it was probably last month. It started because she knocked books out.
Right? And this is an interesting story because it's her same characters, but in a different time period, meeting again for the first time, and they're collecting pieces of cryptids.
Ooh.
And so she has this whole like cryptid lore that's built into the story, which gives us an opportunity to have the best merch. Like if you know what a squonk is, I need a squonk. Plushie, sticker, magnet, I don't know. I need all the squonk things.
There are so many cool cryptids out there, especially from around the world. Oh, there's so much cool stuff to dive into besides like just Bigfoot.
No, I know. I didn't even know about some of these things that she's rolling out. And I was just like, what is that? It's like Jersey Devil and the Wendigo and Bigfoot are kind of the big. And then there's Mothman and then Squonk. And Like I hadn't. There's so many of these crazy ones I've never heard of. 5 days to go on Immortal Era. Show them some love. Again, he's breaking stretch goals, and just a reminder, there's a collaboration, so you have 5 days left to hop on Immortal Era and get that double-sided metal card from both Path of the Pale Rider and Immortal Era. So that's fun. I need to get caught up on his series. I did 1 through 6 in a trade, and then I haven't been back, and it's been bad. I need a clone, but it's better now because today was the first day of school. So I dropped the kids off and I had some time before the show, but I'm actually going to have some time in the mornings now where I can read. The afternoon will be spent working in my car when I'm in all the pickup lines for 2 schools instead of 1 now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
No. The other sister project is, of course, Produce Cats. We got 8 days left on this one. If you like cats and you like food.
If you like cute images, if you like cute stickers, if you like cute magnets, like I went for the magnets because I want to stick the Produce Cats on the fridge and be able to have them there with all the fruits and veggies and stuff. There's shirts, there's all kinds of stuff. Like some of my favorite shirts are actually made by Sarah. I've got a Pac-Man pumpkin pie shirt that I wear every Thanksgiving and Christmas. Me and my wife have matching shirts. And anytime we're having pumpkin pie, we wear those shirts.
That's hilarious. I want it. I need a pumpkin pie shirt.
Mm-hmm. You really do. It's
I got 2 pierogi shirts, so that's that's legit, right? I wear the pierogi shirts when I'm making the pierogies, so it's legit. Here is another project I'd like to give some eyes to, The Scorpion and the Queen. It's a sapphic romance adventure. So again, if you want a little spice. I don't think, this is their number 1, but this is Wells Thompson, and he's done a ton of stuff. So, I mean,
oh yeah, I've worked with him before. He's been doing stuff for a while. He's done all kinds of things.
Yes. Look. I mean, the art's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a chance to really dig into this one as much. It just came on my radar, but I told Wells I'd give him a shout out today to get some more eyes on these projects. So pages look great. How big is this thing? Because I think it's a 24 page. Because a lot of times he's doing like
a lot of times it's graphic novels.
Yeah.
Like I did one with him. There was a collection of horror stories that he got some of the best artists on there. I was so impressed. Like some of the stuff was just amazing.
What else? There's a ton of people live, my friends. This one, Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales. This is 170 pages graphic novel. Are you in this one, Fish? Are you any of this?
I'm not in this one. I wish I was. I think I was just a little bit busy when everybody was teaming up, and I missed out.
I feel like if it wasn't for Travis being like, Laurie, I want you to write something. I'm so oblivious sometimes to some of these anthologies that happen, and they put out the call on social media, and then it's like, oh, I didn't know I could be a part of this, or I didn't even think about it until Travis was like, hey, I need someone to write Beauty and the Beast. Do you want to tackle it? And I was like, sure. Why would I say no to that? So
yeah, I was invited in after being in the last one. And as they were talking about it, I was like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. I'm going to start percolating in the background and see like what I can come up with and who I want to work with. And and then time goes by and I get time blindness as I'm stuck working on something, and days and weeks go by, and then all of a sudden everybody was teamed up and everything was going along. And now I'm working with my buddy TS on another project for Travis that's going to be coming out before long instead.
I was talking with Ed Davis on one of the shows that we were on recently. And and he was just like, hey, and then the next one, and I was like, volume 3 is like, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh, should I get, and he's like, it's already in motion. And I'm like, I missed it. Story of my life, right?
Things go quick.
Yeah. So it's like, you gotta pay attention. But what did he say? Like 57 indie creators are teamed up on this. So this is quite an undertaking. There is this, you see this banner right here, you guys, this green one. If you click on this, There is actually a 4-story preview, so you can get an idea of what it looks like. And this, the very first one, that's me. So
Cool.
Roland, I can't pronounce his last name. Kalanis. He's Kalninis. Sorry, Roland. He's an incredible artist, and he did some really dark art, which is what we were looking for this. You should definitely go take a look. I mean, like, this page right here is just dark. Like, look at this last panel. Like, dun 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 dun. Anywho, definitely go check out that campaign. And then, of course, we got Kill Stan. This is Dis Casillas. We got 2 days left. This one needs some love. 26 backers, 49 hours to go. He needs about $430 to get this one funded. And if you're not familiar with Kill Stan, it's suicide by vigilantism.
It's a heck of a concept.
It's interesting because I feel like he's telling the story non-sequentially, but he's not telling you it's not sequential. Like, kind of like watching Pulp Fiction, where you're in the movie and you're like, wait, you know what I mean? And then it dawns on you that it's not being told in order. I feel like that's what's going on here. I have the first 2 issues. I'm a backer on this one as well. So I definitely want to see this. So please, 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 guys, go show some love. If you like dark, it's pretty humorous at times too. Like, the guy is just flipping about his own life. So dark humor. It's if you're there with us, then definitely pick up a copy of this one. So there you have it. There's our Kickstarter crawl for the day. Lots of good projects.
Lupon's in the comments ain't lying when they say Facebook rarely highlights or notifies me of anything I may be interested in. It says they're relying on direct messages these days. I mean, that's the thing. I make all these posts on social medias. Some of them get seen by like 12 people. And I'm like...
And 5 days later.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's a lot of effort going into making this stuff to get seen by nobody unless I'm willing to pay Facebook to show it to people that already said they want to follow my stuff. That's
Isn't that crazy?
Ridiculous. It drives me up the wall.
Let's go look at Oog too. Oog is such a funny name. Chad, how would you describe this? It'd be like if a caveman found a ray gun. Right? I think that's what Oog is kind of going for. If I wrap it up into one sentence, let's go look up Oog. Is Oog live or is Oog... Let me see if it's live or... Oh, it's in pre-launch. Cool. Here, let's share. Do 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 do. Look at this face. Look at his face.
Oh.
He's just like, haha.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta go look that up. And
I'll drop the link. I'll drop the link in the comments too. Here we go. Oog. It's just a fun name too to say it. It's like saying Jello or...
Oh, that's what got me with the Mighty Caw, the crow.
Yeah, the name,
like,
right?
when I woke up from a nap with that pun in my head, laughing out of a dead sleep, I had to get up and draw him. And he's basically, as much as I tried to make it a more, refined look, all I really did was put pants on him. Otherwise, he looks the same as that first drawing.
He's sophisticated now. Pants.
Yeah, just a little bit,
It just makes me laugh. Look at this poster. It just says gun. Caveman with a gun. Caveman with a gun. Quote by Caveman.
Oh, awesome. It drops to 97. That's cool.
Oh, it's funny. So, yeah, I'm going to be finding out lots more about rolling squid bones. I was just given a bunch of new powers, and it's like I'm going to go push all the buttons and see what explodes. Chad told me if I explode the web page that I'm in trouble. So no exploding the web page, I promise. But yeah, tons of good projects out there, you guys. Andrea, hi. Oog drops tonight.
Mhm.
Okay, excellent. So 7 p.m. Eastern. Will there be a launch party? That's what I would like to know. Rolling Squid Bones, aka Chad. So
That's
have
all
you
I
been,
need to know.
fish?
I've been good. I've been busy. I've been sick, but I'm doing all right.
Sick. Oh
Yeah, well,
no.
I went down to see the grandbabies, and you can't go see the grandbabies without like getting sick in the process. And so I'm just glad I can breathe right now. But yeah, it was great. It was fun. They're getting ready to head off to school for the first times and preschools and kindergarten and stuff. And so it was fun to go get to see them again and hang out.
Oh
Everything, see
goodness.
my son's new house in a very rough part of town.
Oof.
Yeah,
I
he's close
mean,
to work, but like I was outside talking to my other son on the phone. I heard machine gun fire in the distance, and nary a siren one the whole time we were there. Cops never showed up for nothing, but there was a lot of gunfire in the distance. It's Kansas City's a fun
wow.
place.
That's it's hard because when a house is affordable and you're,
Hmm.
especially if the commute is low, it's like it seems like a
And
good deal
you're just
until
starting out, like, they just moved to this town. He just got out of the army.
root.
He got a job with the railroad. It's like it's close enough he can come home from classes at the yard and have lunch at home with his family and all that, and it was cheap enough for them to afford on what they had on hand when he got out before this job started. But it's like it's a well over 100-year-old house, and it shows, and
Oh,
it's 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 in a really beautiful neighborhood. It's
it's
all like these
historic.
craftsman homes,
It's a
and
historic house now. What is that,
oh,
1925?
this is like 1903.
Holy
Like,
shit.
yeah,
Let's
it's
go.
old, and they're lucky that most of the rooms have one outlet because the house was built before they had electricity.
Yeah,
So
I
they've
was gonna
added
say
it in.
1, before electricity. 2, do they have all those narrow doorways?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like that's the thing, right? The
Mhm.
houses before, I don't know what time, but they
Well,
all had these
people
really
weren't my
narrow
size
doors.
back then for sure.
Why
So, like,
though?
all the doorways were smaller and shorter and
Yeah.
all this stuff, but,
You can't fit your
yeah.
furniture through there.
Mhm. Oh, they've got a sectional couch, and they've got 2 pieces of it in the living room and 1 down in the basement because they can't fit the whole thing in the living room 'cause, it's a
Darn.
small living room, but, you know, in 1903, you maybe had 2 rocking chairs or something in that living room and a rug. If you were really rich, you might have a phonograph, and that was about it. So, like, that and some standing ashtrays, you were good to go.
No fast food back then. You are
No,
correct, Lupons. I was like, do they have air conditioning or do they have window units or
they have air conditioning when it works,
when
and,
it works?
yeah, they've had a lot of problems in this place. And they don't even have a
Wow.
landlord exactly to talk to. They have a email link they can email concerns to, and eventually the organization that owns the whole thing
Oh,
will
no.
send out a subcontractor when they get around to it. So, they've had a
Bought
lot of
by
problems with the place.
BlackRock.
And my daughter-in-law's pregnant with their fourth baby, so she's got her hands full, and just got the third one out of diapers, and now she's got another one coming.
Shoot. I'd be looking at him like, "You did this. You did this."
Actually, it's probably our fault because we took the kids to my dad's for a weekend and got snowed in, and so they had a week to
They're
themselves.
like,
And
"Yeah, freedom."
go
Pregnant.
figure.
Damn it. Again, I'd be like, "You did this."
I
Mad
take
at all of
responsibility for
you.
this one.
All in trouble. Gotta do this again. Like, have you seen my feet? They get any bigger? God.
Uh,
Ugh. Well, I'm glad that you're home, and then I'm
mhm.
glad that you're hopefully on the mend here. Um,
I'm
kids
definitely feeling better than I did yesterday. Yesterday was a
good.
rough ride home.
Oh, and it's like, I love the children. I guarantee you by the end of the week, my 3rd grader will have something.
What's up, Victor? Oh
Morning,
man,
Victor.
guaranteed, guaranteed, gonna get sick. Absolutely, it's just a germ factory.
No, and she has, like, loose teeth. She's still losing teeth, so you know that she's like, "Hi, friends," and wiggling her teeth. "Look at my loose tooth," and then
Yeah, stick your
here we
finger in
go.
my mouth and wiggle my
Yeah,
tooth.
maybe you
Like
can
that.
wiggle my tooth. Yeah, let's go outside and touch the grass and then wiggle my tooth. I don't
Mhm.
know. It's a thing.
Yeah.
So
Kids are gross.
kids
Love them.
are gross.
Oh my god, they're gross. Oh my god. I could tell you
Like,
stories that
I
I'm
love
not gonna tell
you.
on air, but, oh, they're gross.
I'm gonna be standing at the door with the Lysol when they get home, like,
Yeah,
welcome
absolutely.
home. Have a snack. Take a shower.
Lysol, some scrub brush. Y'all strip down on the porch. We're sanitizing everybody before they come in the house.
Good morning, RJ. How are you? Oh my goodness. All right, so let's talk.
Let's
I don't
talk.
know where you want to start here.
I don't know.
Uh,
You kind of piqued my
I-
interest when you were talking about the tech in
yeah.
my book this morning.
Okay, for those that don't know, and I'm going to throw it up on the screen real quick and take it back down because I'm going to tease you because that's how I roll. So, Alice Lost in Wonderland 1 through 3 is on Kickstarter right now. I'm going to drop the link for you, but I want to talk about issues 1 and 2 before we dig into 3.
That's
So,
good.
I did a deep dive this morning because I've been trying to read stuff for weeks. And the children, the dog, and the husband make it impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Carrie. And so I finally had like coffee and breakfast, and I got to sit and read on it. I would say interrupted, but the husband was still home. So he was still asking questions. Just like
Where did
trying
I
to
put
read.
my this or that? Yeah, I'm
I
real
love
bad
you,
at that.
but go.
Mhm.
And so issues 1 and 2 are out, everybody. I had to say this was a blast. This was so great. I saw so many cool things in like talking about different fairy tales. It's like th- Neverland, but some people call it Oz and some people call it Wonderland. It's almost like it's this place where you could happen by chance and everybody
Mhm.
has a different telling of what this place is and it's been interpreted into all these different
Yeah, it's
fairy
this
tales, right?
it's this crack in reality where all these different pieces of worlds are crashing through. And
This is true, Lou. Yeah,
that wouldn't be a bad prop to get right now.
I
Like,
might get one. I'm just saying,
yeah, you can write it off as a business expense, do a couple videos with it, but you're safe when the kids get home.
yeah, that's true. I was gonna say
Win-win.
I have that big James suit, but it still pumps air in from the outside, so it wouldn't quite work.
Yeah, yeah, that wouldn't quite work. But in this Wonderland is a rift between worlds, all kinds of different creatures from different worlds, or aliens and robots and ghosts and all kinds of monsters and things are beings from other dimensions that have gotten lost in this crack in reality. And so you've got all these different bits of places, and it looks vastly different depending on where you go. Like these are the Tower Islands that are on like the outskirts of Neverland, and Neverland is a territory that's called Neverland because there is no ground. It's all toxic clouds that'll melt the flesh from your bones. And it's beautiful, but it's deadly. And people don't tend to live very long in that territory, which is why they tend to more often be kids, piloting these airships and dredging the underclouds for things that they can try and pull up and use and sell and whatnot. And if you live long enough to get big enough to be bigger and tougher than everybody, you kind of end up being a pirate and just taking advantage of everybody else. And there's all kinds of cool stuff. There's so many cool worlds crashing together. There's Glass City, which is like the tops of all these skyscrapers and stuff that just erupt up out of nothing into Neverland. And if you could go far enough up these buildings from whatever world they're in and end up in this Wonderland and never be able to get out again if you just
Oh,
take the
no.
wrong elevator.
But how do you go up through the clouds, the noxious gas?
Well, that's in the Neverland territory. Glass City is a whole different thing,
Ah.
and you can wind up there all kinds of ways, and walk through the wrong door or the wrong closet or something, and end up in here. People end up in here through all kinds of different ways. Some of them, tried different scientific experiments and wanted to test the multiverse and got stuck in here. Some people just freaking fell through like an episode of the Twilight Zone. You're looking behind that cabinet and all of a sudden, whoop, there you go. You went through the wall.
It's like me when I push all the buttons on the Rolling Squid Bones Facebook
Mhm.
page that and I just all of a sudden I'm in, where am I?
Yeah, where am I now?
I'm in Wonderland. Uh-oh. How far can I go in here? Do you give me permission to talk?
Oh, yeah, you can talk about whatever you
Okay.
want in there.
All right.
Yeah,
And so we see Neverland, we see Alice. Well, very first thing we see, let's go back. You see the Queen of Hearts, and there's this wonderful digitized convex 3D image. It's like,
and
are
of
you a
course
glutton for punishment? Because
yes, I
who does
am, as a
this?
matter of fact. Because as I started thinking through how this works and how she does it, it has to be this cylindrical form and it has to be in perspective correctly. So I had to make a template to be able to do that cylindrical pixels from different angles, and then I had to make special pixel brushes to paint everything, and everything is like painted and not just drawn. So I had to make special brushes to be able to do all that and make it look right. And of course, she's one of the main characters. So then I have to do her from all kinds of different perspectives and different shapes and stuff. It's a lot of fun. A little secret that hasn't been revealed in the book yet is she actually stole that tech from the Emerald City when she overtook it, when she beat the wizard that
Oh,
was the leader of Emerald City, which is actually ruled by like fantasy dwarves in this world. Like they
yeah.
mined this out of one giant vein of emerald in the side of this mountain.
Pixel,
So
pixel, pixel.
it's
Yeah.
a
Like it
it's
really
a
is. Like,
crazy place, but she stole this tech, so now she uses it to project her head everywhere so she doesn't have to risk her head by actually showing up in public where most of her subjects want to kill her. So she, usually goes out as just this digitized head now and stuff to protect herself.
and I had to laugh at this page because we have some more characters. Whoop. Here we go. This is, you see Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Hmm.
And is that the Knave of Hearts?
He's just a guy.
Just a guy.
He's
Let
just a
me,
guy that needed to get whomped.
he's a Pompadour Prince,
Hmm.
is what he looks like. Actual Prince, like who plays the guitar, no
Yeah,
longer with us.
he does kind of
That's
look
what he
like that.
reminds me of. And it makes me laugh where he was just like, oh, I don't want to go see the cobbler. And on the next page, he's got like black eye and bloody lips. I was like, oh,
I regretted that so much because I did
why?
his hair in this big heart-shaped pompadour, beehive thing.
But
And
look
then
at
I was
him.
like, okay, what does it look like when that gets beat up? And then I had to draw his head from 100 different perspectives in the cobbler's lair. And I was like, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that. But,
Yeah.
I'm
But
like
like
I
it
said,
took
I'm a
me a
glutton for
second.
punishment. I like to
So I
make
was
things
like,
difficult for
again, he's
myself.
not really looking at the camera until the next page. And I was like, oh crap, he's got a real big black eye. And I was like, oh, they kicked the crap out of him.
Hmm. Yeah. As soon as he talked back to the queen and was like, who on earth would risk their life by
Right.
going to talk to the cobbler?
And
He
they were
got
like,
volunteered to go.
yep. And this cobbler, I you and these spiders, man. Oh,
I throw everything that freaks me out into my
mm,
books. Like I freak out about my own janky teeth and like layered teeth that are coming in wrong. So lots of things have messed up teeth and long finger spiders with lots of little eyes and long crusty nails, and
oh
all of
god.
the things that freak me out end up going into this. And it's I love this character. I've been using this guy for decades in my role playing game. He had a different name in the role playing game, but essentially, whenever you went saying you were looking to make a deal, a door somewhere in your vicinity would transform into a
Right?
door into his lair. And and now it would be like, Cobbler Interdimensional Limited. And it doesn't matter where you are. It could be your closet, it could be a bathroom cabinet. It'll open up into his little pocket dimension. And once you go in and the door shuts behind you, you're in his little realm. You don't get out till he lets you out. And he's a great place to make deals. And in my role playing games, it would be a great place if you were in the middle of a dungeon and you ran out of arrows or something. You start saying you're willing to make a deal, and it starts out easy. And he'll be like, oh, you know what? I'll gamble for it because he loves to gamble. Like, if you win, you get these arrows for free. If you lose, they cost you $50. Something like this. It's
Yeah,
easy,
so
and it's all
stakes
fun and
aren't too
games
high
until
until
until the more desperate you get, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, for
right?
3 years off of your life, I will offer you this one arrow, and if you lose, I get the 3 years. If you win, I get the 3 years, and you get the arrow. And it just
Wait a
gets
minute.
worse. um he'll bet you for like a day out of your life, which in the role playing game was great because if Lori doesn't show up this week, a door would open in the game and she would get snatched out, and that's the day he took. It's not like
Oh
the end.
no.
And sometimes it's to prevent you from being able to do something instrumental in your life that would have changed history. And it's like, no, you're not going to be there that day to save the day. You're going to be somewhere else.
I'm
Um,
gonna, I'm gonna,
he's evil.
yeah.
He's sinister. He is a living monkey's paw. Like, he will give you whatever you wish for, but it will not be the way you wished for it. There's If you read the fine print on the wanted poster in issue 2, it
Yes.
gives you all the fine print, like the fine print on that ad on the other page gives you a real good insight into how his deals end up working out for you.
We're gonna talk about this, but I want to stick with this story real quick because
Absolutely.
these are freaking hilarious. And I feel like you and I both do stuff like this, and I haven't done something like this. So guess what? You just made more work for me.
And
Challenge
it's also
accepted.
descriptive because it
Mm-hmm.
explains what the pack is on Rabbit's back
Mm-hmm.
without, like, I got to make a fun ad out of it from our old comic books that I loved as a kid, you know, that were like, if you have a basic knowledge of soldering and a couple of vacuum cleaners, you too can
Wait,
build a hovercraft.
stop. We're gonna go. I swear, I promise we'll get there. But I'm still I'm fangirling over this book. So again, we see the Red Queen. She puts out a bounty for the White Rabbit. We
Hmm.
don't know who that is yet. And she's desperate enough to go to this creep with the cobbler. And I feel like I have to go back and look at every single one of these spiders because I'm sure they're doing creepy or hilarious things.
Sometimes it's kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I must go look. And then we're introduced to Alice, who's feral, let's be honest.
Yeah.
She
She's
stinks.
not
She
the
has
proper Victorian girl that she was when she
no,
first got kidnapped and taken to Wonderland.
right? And they're
She's
broke.
Yeah.
They're like, you got clean water money?
Yeah. You got bathing money because that's expensive.
That's right. So that's where she's at. She's at the bounty board looking at bounties, and then this character whom you love.
Oh, I love him so much.
Feral, not the feral, the Cheshire
Yeah.
cat. Which what you did with him is both fascinating and terrifying because he has way too many teeth.
Yeah. He's like an interdimensional yokai. He's like this ghost that can go through things, and he exists on this different dimensional plane and can go back and forth between wherever he wants, and he's always stirring up trouble, and he's always like giving bits of information and stuff just to kind of stir the pot. And he's got motivations, but they don't make any sense yet. And if you really pay attention, like, you really only get a good glimpse of just how vicious he can be when he's behind Alice's back. Like, in front of her, he's always smiling and happy and, ears back and all pretty and stuff. It's once he gets behind her back that you really start to see just how long the snake tongue is and just how many rows of teeth he has. And
I don't.
he's a lot more dangerous than she thinks he is. He's an annoyance, she thinks. She doesn't really know how dangerous he is.
I want to know who's pulling his strings. Like, are they feeding him information so he can cause drama? Is he doing this himself? Like, how does he know this information before everybody else? So I feel like we're going to get more, obviously.
Those are good questions. Those are the kind of questions I want you to ask.
Exactly. Because I was like, he's the one that told her she's at this bounty board. And he was like, did you know there's a bounty for the White Rabbit? And she was like, what did you say? And that's what leads her to go find the cobbler. But it's like, how did she find that? How did he find that out? and what is his motivation for telling her. And
Yeah.
what I
How
like
does?
what you did here is that now is when we get the flashback. We see,
Hmm.
but here's the twist. We see all this, we see him finding her, my sweet rabbit, she calls him, and how he took her through all these dimensions and they were taught her everything she knows. And um
He saved
yeah,
her from this time
here's
worshiping cult that.
right, the nexus, and like here's the pack, right? So he's going through and he's doing things that might seem unethical. He killed
Mhm. Whole
random
bunch of
people.
civilians. Yeah, just a bunch of
Yeah,
random people. But
just so
when
he
he
could mess
does
with the
that,
timeline.
that
Right.
changes time, which rewrites history after all these people just got killed. And the other guys, the Nexus Order had been following him
Nexus.
through time.
Yeah.
So when he rewrites time, they all die in the process. They get spread throughout the multiverse.
And now there's something subtle that you did that I caught was that that wasn't his first thing that he did. He knew that he could do that, but he tried to outrun them
Mm-hmm.
first so that he didn't have to kill
Yeah.
random people. But it was kind of like, well, I've tried everything and nothing's working, so this is kind of
Yeah.
my last
Weird.
ditch resort, you know?
Yeah.
So he did that. But it was like it's like several pages of them running before he pulls out that trick. So I just thought it was interesting that he
I'm
has
glad you caught
questionable
that
motives.
because, like, he's not just a bloodthirsty
Right.
maniac. Like, but when you corner
Push
an
him.
animal, they're gonna strike. Even a
Right.
rabbit will bite, and
Mhm.
so he has to do something to try and protect himself and the girl, and he does. But by the end of
Yeah.
it, he can't figure out how to get her home,
Yep.
and so now he's got this girl that he's got to try and figure out how to take care of as best he can. And I equate him to, like, the guy that becomes a dad in high school. Like, he's
Yeah.
not really equipped for the job yet. He's not really mature enough yet. He doesn't have his feet under him well enough yet. And he is a guy who is constantly on the run. Like, he's not an upstanding law-abiding citizen necessarily. Like, he makes his living, as a bounty hunter and robbing places and things. Like, he's a kind of a scoundrel a bit, an adventurer, if you will. Like, I've always thought of him like Conan,
Yeah.
not necessarily good or evil, just out for himself, taking care of himself first. And so he's always been on his own little thing, and now he's got this girl that he's got to try and take care of. And so he teaches her the best he can, tries to teach her the lessons that he was taught, and tries not to make the same mistakes that the people that raised him made. But like in life, you can try not to make your parents' mistakes
Yeah.
and end up making all new mistakes and still have your
Yep.
kids hate you. So,
Exactly.
it's tough out there.
So, but what I got from this is again, you're seeing her again over and over call him sweet rabbit, and you're seeing these memories where they're buddy buddy and they're eating dinner together. And even though some of the dinners are absolutely disgusting, which I think is hilarious. Um, and then she busts into the cobbler. And so not knowing the rest of the story, I was like, she's going to go in there and demand that they call off the bounty, right? Because that's her mentor, that's her
Yeah.
friends. You know what I mean? That's she wants it to stop, but she gets in there and she's just like, nobody kills him except for me. And I'm like, wait a minute, something has gone wrong somewhere. And so again, it's like she's a ruthless
Somewhere along the
killer,
way, the
right?
storybook ending took a bit of a twist and didn't end up happily ever after. And now
I
she's
mean,
clearly got a beef with him.
this is her reaction and she goes in and she starts blowing people away like, no,
Yeah.
you can't do this, this is mine,
Hmm.
laying claim to her territory, um which again shows how creepy this cobbler is with his dang spiders.
And how quick they work too. Like, they can just swarm
Gross.
past, and all of a sudden he's nice and clean and all fresh and dandy again. And it's even
Gross.
worse at the end of the book. Like, they do a lot of repairs by the end of the book. Um, but they can
Yeah.
basically build anything, create anything in this pocket dimension. You could ask him for an atom bomb, and they could scurry across his desk, and there is one. They can they can build anything. That's why they're his little elves, and partly why they're made up of fingers. So they have the
It's
dexterity. They're so
so gross.
gross.
They're so gross.
I
I don't
love
know
it.
if anybody else is aware of this tabletop game called Kingdom Death Monster.
Mm-mm.
It was from a few years back. It was a Kickstarter and it made like millions of dollars. It's just ridiculous. But they have I call them minis because they're miniature. Like they have your characters are this big, but some of the monsters you fight are just giant, and they all have fingers and teeth coming out of places where they should not have fingers and teeth
I
and
love that,
hands.
and eyeballs. I love to put eyeballs in
Yeah,
places
and I
they're not
mean,
supposed to be. Yeah,
this is what that reminds me of is these creepy spiders is like Kingdom Death Monster where it's just like, please stop touching. Don't touch the ew.
yeah. I've
Thank
I've
you.
I've got a couple of beings I plan on pulling out later that will absolutely give you nightmares for very
Thank you.
similar
Looking
reasons.
forward to that. Can't wait. You know me, I love nightmare fuel. And then so
Absolutely.
the scene that plays out where Alice is in there, she agrees to the bounty.
Hmm.
So she puts her blood fingerprint on there, which is probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
And it cracks me up that all the other bounty hunters that are in that room do the same. She goes around, she compliments them all.
Hmm.
And then you find out that she has planted a grenade on each and every one of them and then jumps out of the room and blows them all to smithereens.
Well,
My
in her
favorite
defense,
oh,
she pulled the pins on their grenades.
oh, it's their grenades?
Yeah, it's the they brought them in, and she just took the pins with her.
Um, and might I say, my favorite part of this whole book is the cobbler when he's like, "I really hate her."
Yep. Oh man.
She's done this before.
Hmm. Oh, she is the deadliest bounty hunter in the Rift. Not necessarily because she's the best, but because she has the highest body count.
She
I
just
mean,
doesn't
she just
care.
flat kills people left and right. Like she is pretty feral now, and like she spent her whole life on the run, and especially when you spend a lot of time going between dimension and dimension and realize like just how many of each person there are throughout the multiverse, it's kind of hard for them to matter anymore. Like it weighs on your brain after a while. And when you see how much you can change time and things can bend around you, like, consequences stop mattering as much.
Oh, you
And
said the magic word. Let's play it. Let me find it. Where'd it go? Here it is. Consequences. Pee-wee's Playhouse. Ah! Word of the day.
But,
Um,
yeah, I love it. And my favorite scene is, like, after that explosion when she's in the background and Big Ten's, like, trying to clean up the mess they made, and she's just shaking off like a dog trying to get all the busted fruit off of her. Like, that tells me everything you need to know about Alice right there, between smelling her shirt in the beginning and being disgusted with it, and then shaking off like a dog.
this
Like,
one right here, guys.
yeah, I love it. And, like, and when she's in this, demon deal maker's pocket dimension to have the audacity to steal from him
Yeah,
and stuff, I love her. She's just this little chaos demon and doesn't think about the consequences, which is partly why you got to have somebody like Big Ten, the Tin Man,
yeah.
watching her back, because she just doesn't think things through and doesn't think about what's going to happen. She needs somebody to grab her and protect her from the explosion that she just caused and
Gosh.
take the brunt of that. And, somebody to watch out when she starts a bar fight for people that are going to, come up behind her and try and kill her.
So does she just assume that he's gonna have her back every time? I mean,
Yeah.
he does, but that's part of the plan?
Yeah. Well,
Is there a
it's
plan?
part of the story that's going to evolve a little more, but you get a hint of it in issue 2 when, when he begins to say a promise is a promise. And she cuts him off because it brings up too many bad
Bad
memories of
memories,
Rabbit and
yeah.
stuff. But at one point, he promised that he's going to watch over her and, protect her. And now he will, because that's a promise. And essentially, he's basically immortal. So, like,
Mhm.
you know, watching over her is like, agreeing to watch over a really chaotic puppy. Like, I mean, it's going
Yeah,
to be a pain for a while, but in the grand scheme of his life, it's this much time. Like,
right.
surely he will survive it. Hopefully.
As long
Um,
as he keeps getting new gaskets, I think he'll be
Another
fine.
part is there's more to the story with the mini comics. And a lot of
Yes.
people, like, if you're only getting the main comic, you're getting a cool story and there's all kinds of neat stuff and there's all kinds of cool tidbits and stuff. And you're gonna have enough in here to have really cool like, oh wow, that looks so neat. But if you're getting the mini comics, then you're getting a view of like what life was like when Alice was young, when she was little, and she goes on this adventure and crosses paths with Big Ten for the first time and Captain Hook and all this stuff. And then you realize, oh, it's very different from here to here, and a lot of things have changed.
Mm,
And why is that? And how is that? And you start to find out a little bit more about how things work. And you can totally enjoy the main comics on their own, perfectly fine. But if you like all the extra little juicy tidbits, then you'll want to get the mini comics. And they're honestly some of the funnest stuff I've been doing. I love it
that's
so much.
awesome. I know it's like it's a blank canvas where it's
Hmm.
like, here's the main story. We have to stick to the path of the story to get from A to Z. I only have, 24 pages,
It's
28
only so
pages.
many pages to work with. I can't go
Right,
down every rabbit hole I want to,
right.
but I can show off more stuff in here
Mhm.
and, show you how different things work. And like, Rabbit has the Vorpal sword, this entire blade, that can cut through time and reality, and he can go wherever he wants, whenever he wants. Somehow along the way, Alice has half of that sword. How did
That's what
it
I was
get?
gonna say. Is it the same sword? Does he have
Oh
the other
yes.
half? And I mean, again, these are just questions that I'm thinking
How
of.
did it get broken?
How
How
did
did
that
she end up
happen?
with it? All
Right.
of these questions, are going to eventually be answered. And
Does he still have the other
somehow
half?
Buster, this other little kid with white hair, has just the hilt of it. Like,
Oh,
there's just
no.
a little bit of it left that hasn't been broken off. And he takes Alice on an adventure, and you get to find out that there's more white hairs out there than just the two of them. And the stark white hair is what marks them as being unique in the multiverse. There are no other variants of
Yeah.
Laurie or Fish out there in other worlds or other timelines. And because of that, because they're not woven into the fabric of the multiverse with all these variants, then when the timeline rewrites itself, they're like a speck of dust floating on top of that tapestry as it gets rewritten. So they just see it change, and which can drive some people nuts. There are some white hairs
Mhm.
that are considered prophets and stuff because they can see things change and they can see, a little bit into the multiverse and see how the timelines are working. And then other times you just sound like a crazy person on the side of the road screaming, "You had
Ah,
pink hair
that's
yesterday!"
that
And you
was the
didn't.
picture. There's a picture in there where, like, one is a prophet on a stage in
Yeah.
front of a crowd being almost, like, worshiped, and then
Mhm.
there's a guy with the sign, like the hobo sign, the end is near kind
Yeah.
of sign. Yeah,
And,
okay, that's that
and
moment.
he's not revered so much. But
Right?
there are it happens all the time, that like two people that never got together in any other dimension have a kid, and that kid could be born with white hair, and meaning they're all alone in the multiverse. And that allows them to survive things like time travel. And that's why the Nexus Order wants to capture Rabbit, because if they can figure out how to give their soldiers this ability to be able to go back in time and change history and not get destroyed by the paradoxes, then they can rewrite history to be exactly what they
Yeah.
want it to be. And that's what they're trying to do. And they're trying to catch him. So when he's on the run and just so happens to run by this girl with the same bright white hair, it's like, if I don't take her, they will, and she's dead anyway. So
Right.
he takes her and runs with her, and hilarity and chaos ensue.
Are they related?
Him and her,
Mhm.
she's just a girl that he ran by. Like, I
Okay.
mean, he just
'Cause he
grabs her
said
up
stuff like,
because,
"Say hi to grandma."
yeah, well, that's another character that's going to be showing up soon, and I really want to go into it. but she's essentially this crazy old witch that lives at the end of time, who also has white hair, and she lives in this little village on this ice rock that is populated by just a handful of people, most of them on the run from other timelines and stuff, or other beings that are trying to hide out in the last vestige of time. And that's where a lot of these people end up spending time. And like Alice ends up spending some time with grandma when she's a kid. Grandma raised Rabbit, you know. Buster
Interesting.
lives there a lot. Like there's lots of people show up there at the end of time. And
It's like
so
Loki in the TVA.
kind of, yeah. I mean, it's like this is a place where grandma was trying to hide, and then all these other white hairs end up showing up, and she does not like it. She does not want to watch Alice. She does not want to watch Buster or Rabbit, or she didn't want any of these guys here because it draws attention, and she's
Ah,
trying to hide. But people keep
showing
getting
up.
dumped off on her for her to watch them, and she doesn't like them, and she don't like being called grandma. But what are you going to call the old lady? You know, like all the other
Yeah,
kids in the village call the old lady at their house grandma.
right.
And you know, like, shut up, I'm not your grandma. But she's going to appear.
Ooh, I'm looking
And
forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm
She
trying
is.
to find the moment, but I thought Alice said something about the sword not working to get to where he is. Did I
Well,
read that
like
right?
they talk about it in the beginning of issue 2,
Is
that
that
like they can't go.
Dylan?
She wants, when she's a kid, in that little bit showing like when she's a kid going on an adventure with Rabbit in the beginning, and he's
Yeah,
trying to figure out where to get some gold. She's like, well, let's just go into the Emerald City and and take their money. And he's like, the sword won't work there because
that's
the
right.
giant single emerald that it's carved out of, dissipates different types of energy forms, and the sword's not going to work. And so that's a dangerous place to try and go into, because you're not going to be able to get out, unless they let you out, and you don't want to piss off the dwarves. So he's like, that's not what we're going to do.
Right.
um
We're definitely
but
not gonna go there.
yeah,
Um,
and you get hints along the way in issue 2 and 1 that she's been trying to catch Rabbit for a long time. she's
yeah.
she's
Ah,
got a beef with him.
something
And
happened. Fish, your screen says no.
yeah, can you hear me still?
Can still hear you.
Okay, give me 1 second. My camera timed out on me here. I'm using my cell phone.
Got it.
So I have to try and get it back up again.
I want to show people. Okay. So Fish has these amazing, almost like the ads inside that you used to get for like the sea monkeys and the x-ray specs and stuff like that inside the old legacy comics. Um, so the first one he did was a commercial for that pack that Rabbit is wearing. And this is just freaking hilarious. I love that it's just there's so many words, so you just got to like really read it. But it's like build your own matter digitizer, disintegrate and store items, amuse your friends. There's Fish. Get your very own set of hand-drawn blueprints absolutely free. Asterisk. And so many funny things in the small print. In fact, there's like such small print I can't read it on here, and I was just like, "What did you put in here?"
Oh, it's all like really there if you can make it out. Like I don't even know if in that print it's legible at all if
I
you
don't
zoom
think
in
I
far
can.
enough.
Ooh, I
But
can if I take my glasses off. I'll
it
have to
is
read.
actually all
Yeah.
written out. There are details all the way down there into the teeny tiny fine print. About like how uh the cobbler can come back and demand payment at any time,
Right.
and it doesn't matter if you have it or not, and he can take whatever he wants to make it. uh and yeah, you're basically signing your life and existence and soul away by signing up for these free plans.
It says Ye Old Cobbler Shop Interdimensional Limited, and it has TM trademark. So that's hilarious, first of all. It said it's not responsible for loss of limbs, radiation poisoning, injuries, or potential rips in the time-space continuum. To spare yourself a lifetime of terror, do not attempt to reintegrate organic beings.
You can absorb organic things into the pack, but you don't want to see how it comes back out. Because there's way too much information in DNA and all that stuff. And when it's trying to reorganize all that, there's just way too many instructions. So you're going to end up with, like we said, you're going to end up with eyeballs and fingers and things in places that it shouldn't be, and it doesn't come out well. So yeah, don't try and digitize your friends. But like if you want to, absorb everything in their house and help them move with one handy backpack, you could do that. If you want to go into Fort Knox and absorb all the gold, you could do that. You could store a bunch of weapons and stuff on there. If you're say trapped on a space station and you're being overrun with space zombies, you could grab hold of that plex steel window and absorb a chunk of that and get sucked into space. Like
no, don't do
there's
that.
all kinds of things you can do with it.
I mean, it would be great for aliens chasing you in the spaceship.
I mean, it is a great way to get rid of, say, a henchman's head if they're giving you a bad time, but then like
just don't put it back together.
That's stored in there, and like be careful you don't call that out when you're looking for your gun or something that you've also stored in there. It's basically a digital bag of holding. But
can you imagine? You're like, it's a bowling ball. Nope, it's a head.
And the funny thing is, it's like the Betamax VCR version of video storage. Like it is the old school, biggest, heaviest way you could carry this information around. They have much smaller, slicker devices like an Apple Watch that could do the same thing, but he doesn't like the new tech. He likes the old stuff. He likes being able to work on it. It's like those gigantic old tube TVs, like
the bag phone that was the size of a briefcase.
Rather than like you have an iPhone and it breaks down and you throw it away and get another one. Like
it's Doc. What's up, Doc?
He likes it because it can be fixed and he doesn't have to store it to a quantum cloud. And what if that driver goes down and he loses all the stuff he stored in there? Like you don't want that. So he carries it around on his back.
And now we're on to the wanted poster. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is chock full of riddles, QR codes. There's a barcode, which I don't know how to scan the barcode. Does that take
I honestly thought everybody had a barcode scanner on their phone. Kyron gave me a hard time about that. He's like, no, we don't. And I was like, oh, well, I do, because like I want to scan and make sure that the barcodes work on the back of the book and that it comes up right and stuff. I just didn't think about it. But
so the barcode is legit.
Yeah.
Takes you to someplace. Okay.
I mean, it gives you information. And
got it.
There are like 6 hidden messages on this page, and 5 of them all say basically the same thing. It's all basically different ways of communicating the information of the wanted poster. Then there's one that says something else and takes you to an unlisted video message on YouTube from Rabbit to Alice. And that was really fun to make. And there's lots of stuff in there. It brought a lot of emotion to it, to be able to like really hear Rabbit's voice and hear him talking to her and stuff. I love it. And the little hints at, what's to come and stuff when you put all little bits together.
I can't read this middle part. So for those of you, I'm looking at this thing and there's hidden messages everywhere in this thing. I'm trying to, I haven't figured out this side one yet where it's distorted, but I will. But I'm looking at the back of the wanted poster and I see it. So I'm just missing a word.
Yeah, there's only like a spot or two in there where the background is long enough to show the whole sentence.
I see the last word is granted. So I think I understand what it's saying. But again, it's like you read the fine print is just again so funny. It's ye old cobbler's shop interdimensional limited. It's just like again, it's just like taking all your rights away, and it's like, oh yeah, turn them in, and we get to take your life too.
And and I love the part about getting your heart's desire, whatever your wish is. doesn't necessarily have to show any resemblance to any preconceived heart's desire.
It's just funny. It's like heart's desire will be determined and produced, manufactured, or conjured at the sole discretion of ye old cobbler's shop interdimensional limited, and may or may not bear any resemblance to any imagined or preconceived heart's desire. That's sentence one. So again, like this is the kind of stuff that I love and I strive to do in my comics as well, Fish. And so like I'm the reader you're looking for, where I'm just like, I'm gonna look at all these things and figure it
Mhm.
out, you know?
That's the thing, like, that's why I like putting all those little details in there, and why I
Mhm.
put, like, all the characters in the background and stuff that I do, and all these little
Okay.
things that are eventually gonna show up later and be like, "Oh, that's what that was."
I was gonna say, I'm sure there's an app somewhere that will let
Oh, yeah.
me read barcodes, so
I was
anywho.
surprised how many people figured out the other language code on there in the
Really?
foreign language. Like, I will just say it is,
This one?
it's an actual legit language of a very well-known IP, and I thought you would have to be like a really hardcore old school comic book nerd to get it.
Is it
And
Klingon?
one of them was no, it is not. It is not Klingon, I'll tell you that much. And one person scanned it and ran it through like Google Images or something and found out what the language was and then deciphered it. Another friend
Cool.
recognized the language and can almost read it. He made out like half the message just by looking at it, which was I didn't think anybody was that hardcore nerd, uh but yeah. Uh, I I didn't expect anybody to get that one. I expected people to find the video long before they found that out.
The second video?
Yeah, and the second video, so far, I think I've only had, like, 2 people find.
3
I think
because me now.
Oh, did you just get it? Because
I
I
went on there this morning and I was like, and then I put stuff.
okay.
I can't say what it is, people, but I left a message for you, Fish, because I know you put stuff into that soundtrack that's supposed to mean something. Because again, we don't know where Rabbit is. And so we're trying to guess. Like, I'm listening to the background for context clues to be like, oh, are you telling us something, by
Mhm.
this sound in the background about where he is? And so I was tuned into that. 'Cause I know there's a message in the message in the message.
Oh, yeah, and,
So
like and then there's just little things, like, when he says a certain thing, like, there's a glass break in the background
mhm.
because, somebody's like, "Oh, shit," you know, "he he just mentioned a name, that's dangerous," and,
Yeah,
like,
someone
I
dropped it.
dig that kinda stuff.
So, alright, so I'm not gonna go through issue number 2. You guys need to get it and read it to find out what's really happening in issue 2, which is fabulous. But when we
Mhm.
get to the end, I wanna talk about what are they? The Nexus
The
the
Nexus
cult.
Order, yeah. They're
Yeah.
they have they're this time worshiping cult that has built their entire planet into a giant temporal engine slash ship that they pilot their planet around, and the entire core of the planet is built into this temporal engine so that they can rip holes through time, and but they haven't figured out how to really survive the process yet, so they can send soldiers back to do stuff, but once they do it and time rewrites itself because they just change time, then they usually end up getting destroyed by the paradox. Or they could just try, if they survive, they could stay there. But if they travel time again, they're going to get destroyed. So,
Hmm.
like maybe if they just sent me back, I could change something and survive, but then I can't ever leave. And so, yeah, the entire planet is like there's these smokestacks all over the outside of the planet you'll see, and like
Yeah.
that's inside one of them. That's one of the vents that drop down to the core of the planet, and they, have these leaders and stuff in there that are using the waves and stuff off the temporal engine to like look through time and figure out where they're going to plot and where they're going to go and try and figure out
Interesting.
what they're going to do. But again, they can't do this stuff and really survive yet, which is why why Rabbit and Alice are such big targets, because if they can catch one of them, then they can master that.
Now, I noticed that this guy that's hooked into all this tech, which I wanted to ask you about this tech and where the inspiration was from, but he's got a big old white beard with gray in it. And so
Yeah.
I was like, so is he a rabbit white? Is he tuned into these white hairs or not? Because with this gray, it tends to, I think that he's not, but is he a white hair that maybe is an offshoot that was like, he started it because he's trying to figure it out himself. And he obviously doesn't care about many of them because he just like, thanks for the message, and just boots this guy off of,
Yeah.
peace out. Like, you don't matter, right?
Yeah.
And so I have questions about him. We
I
haven't
have
seen his
gotten
face.
some really interesting messages with ideas, and like some of the fans have messaged me and they're like, "Oh, that's you, right? That's you as the
Oh,
leader of the Nexus
is
Order."
it you?
And I was like, "Dang, I
No?
didn't think about that. I maybe should have made me that." Like I did plan for a Mr. Fish character in Green Zone. It was going to be like one of the higher up gang leaders and bad dudes, because I used to be a bad guy back in the day. And so I think it's interesting to think, like, what would that have been if I continued on that path, and alternate versions kind of thing. But that wasn't intended to be me. He just happens to have a long gray beard too, because like he never leaves this thing. He doesn't,
Yeah.
have time to go shave or anything. He's hooked into all this uh planetary computer system stuff. Um and then I've gotten things like, that's Rabbit's dad, and the sword is basically his dad's car, and Rabbit stole it as a teenager and took off with it. Now his dad's hunting him down and
Mm.
trying to get it back. And I'm like, dang, I kind of wish I had thought of that, because that's like a really relatable
Like, dang it.
story. I have such a convoluted, crazy time travel story that goes back and forth and cycles in on itself because of the time travel. I was
Yeah.
like, that's so simple. Anybody could read that, be like, oh, I get that. I know what that's like. That he's gonna whip his tail when he catches him. Like, I wish I had thought of that. That's good. That's
Hilarious.
not what it is, but it's good. I
Right.
really like
I
that
love
idea.
when people do that to me too, where they're just like, it's this. And I was like, that's genius. No, it's not that.
I wish it was, but yeah, it's not. That's brilliant.
Now,
It
I
was really
am going to
clever.
show the last page of this book. And even though it's, um, I don't know if we can really show this. It doesn't, like, you guys are not getting the whole story here, but he's looking at a globe and it has, again, it's like all these things of time
Hmm.
throughout, and I'm like, I'm seeing all these different white hairs, and I'm wondering if that's grandma.
Oh, one of
You
them
see,
is, yeah,
okay. And we see just a bunch of people and people running and at, things
and
that
different
have
scenes
either
from out the
happened or
books, and
haven't happened. And it's like
yeah.
he's seeing all of time. The game is afoot. And it's like, all right, where are we going? You know? And so if you guys have not gotten into this story, let me show you how you can get into this story. It is right here, my friends. I can't speak highly enough about this. I deep dive into it, and I feel like I gotta go read it again that I missed stuff because I'm sure I did,
Oh,
right?
there I am sprinkling so many little things throughout it that don't matter now, and aren't like, "Hey, look at this cup," and then go on. Like, it's just things that are out there, but will come back and matter later on, and you'll realize, "Oh, wait a minute. That's that thing in the back. That's who that is in the background. And oh, that's who that character is. And oh,
Yes.
that's who they were." And it's gonna be good.
And I
It is.
skipped over a bunch of the story that happens in issue 2, and I'm really looking forward to understanding those characters, which is, I'm sure, showing up here in
Oh,
issue
yeah.
3, just based off of this banner. So,
Oh, yeah.
I have so many questions. I need to know what happened between Alice and White Rabbit. I need to know why the Queen of Hearts is after the White Rabbit. I need to know more about the Nexus Order. I need to know about these characters. Like, there's just so much story here, you guys. Um, How many issues do you have planned for this series? I'm just curious.
This is planned around a 6-issue arc. My
6?
my dream goal would be to tell this story for the rest of my life. Like,
Yeah.
I've got stories I've been working on this story for 30 years. Like,
Wow.
it could easily take me 15, 20 years just to get all the story I have down in my head right now out, in floppies, one at a time. But I would love to tell it for the rest of my life. If people enjoy the ride and want to go along with it, like, this is my magnum opus story. This first 6-issue arc is taking Alice from going on the hunt for Rabbit to catching up with him. And, like, that's what this is. And along the way, we're going to get a bigger view of what this interdimensional rift is like, and what the characters are like in it, what's going on. We're going to find out more about how Alice went from loving him so much to wanting him dead.
Yeah.
And and see how things go along the way. Like, there's a couple of pages. The first 2 pages of issue 3 are down among the pages, and you get to see it starts out with Rabbit basically dropping young Alice off at a brothel for the girls to watch her while he goes off on a mission that's too dangerous to take her with. And they get into this argument, about, like, well, if it's too dangerous, why are you going? And, like, listen, you need to stay here and listen to the girls. Grandma's going to come get you. But Grandma hates me. I know, and I hate Grandma, but she's the only person that can keep you safe. And they get to yelling at each other, and she's like, but that's not what you said last time. He's like, I know what I said.
Mm.
And then, he realizes he went too far, and he's trying to apologize. And, like when you're a parent, you're just trying to watch out for your kid. Like, you're not my dad. And it's just painful cycle after painful cycle. But this was so real and so gritty. And this had me teared up the whole time I was working on these pages, because it's such a genuine look at, like, things I
Yeah.
regret saying to my kids and things that hurt when my kids said. And TS, who's writing the script with me on this, did such an amazing job of making this so real in such a fantastic, realm, that it's so painful. It just stings, and I love it. He's brought a lot of depth to the emotionality earlier than I would have. Like, Alice has a bit of
Yes.
an emotional breakdown in book 2. Like, that would have been book 5 for me. Like, I would have waited to show anything but strength and craziness out of Alice. But the fact that she kind of has a meltdown and realizes that, like, Rabbit would know what to do to find him. He was so much better at this than I am. And and it was such a touching point that he put in. The whole little side story with the first mate in Neverland on the polychrome ship when he
Mhm,
takes
mhm.
command. That whole little scene was something that TS just thought of and stuck in there. And I would have had a lot more detail with Captain Hook, but he throws that in there, and it was brilliant, and it was touching, and I was all emotional, and it's so beautiful. And then it ends in a
He has
very,
funny, dark sense of humor
oh
is
god,
all I can say about that scene, and I'll tell you my thoughts on it after the show because I didn't wanna
getting
spoil
to
it. Like, you
collaborate.
guys have to get this issue,
It's so
because issue 1, we did a deep dive, but you gotta read issue 2 for yourself,
mhm.
and then, of course, come back the issue 3, and if I'm sure there's a catch-up tier.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
catch up tier. There's digital catch up tiers,
Mm.
and this time I've got, like, digital catch up tiers that also have the digital mini comics, so you can see the
Oh, there you
differences
go.
between. I haven't offered the mini comics digitally before, but it was a brilliant idea, and I added them on this time, so you
Nice.
can get all of the information about Wonderland that's available so far, and add that all to there, and see the differences uh, in Captain Hook from the beginning to the end, and help spur more questions about where did the change come from. And and issue 3 goes into a little bit more about this new Captain Hook and Alice's history with her, and why Hook hates her so much, and why this was such a bad idea to go looking to her for information. But when Alice finds out in book 2 that basically Cheshire has told all of the magical interdimensional beings not to mess, not to help Alice. She's like, well, I got to find somebody who won't listen to anybody, and that's Hook. Hook
Yeah.
ain't gonna listen to nobody. So she goes seeking out Hook, even though that was probably the stupidest thing she could do. But we find out they've got a whole history and double crosses and betrayals and all kinds of stuff. Uh, I had to censor it, but don't feel bad. That's the Scarecrow, and by the end, he's better. He
Shh,
put
you
himself.
spoiled it. Shh. You guys have to read. It's the last page of issue 1. Go. You have to read it.
It's
Um,
good stuff.
I didn't want to spoil it, but yeah, these everything looks incredible.
It is a
It,
little bloody. It is very violent. So, that's something to consider. Like it's not necessarily for little kids, but
right. But
if your
again,
kids
it's like
watch The
true
Walking Dead and stuff, then
time travel and um, these hard relationships would
Mhm.
probably go over kids' heads anyway. You know what I mean? So even if it was
Oh
like
yeah.
a swashbuckling
I had
Neverland pirates, but it's still like this page is an example of what would go over a kid's head. This whole
mhm.
we're yelling at each other because we love each other and we can't say it
Yeah.
page. You know what I
And
mean?
and you make mistakes and you're trying to do the best you can. And like
Right.
he knows what he's fixing to do is so dangerous that she's liable to get killed and he can't have that.
Right.
And so even though she doesn't get that, you know, they do all this adventuring stuff together and you can see, like, if you pay attention, her look is changing as time goes on and she's looking more and more like him and she's got
Like
her hair
him.
tied like him
Yep.
and stuff and she's starting to emulate him more. She has the medicine bag around her neck the way he does. And she's gone from being the little girl in the blue dress to being more like a mini rabbit and following him around everywhere he goes and adoring him. But still, you have fights when things don't go your way and you're a kid and you don't want to listen. And it's tough.
And
It's
it's
tough being a
hard
kid. It's tough
when
being a parent.
you're emulating someone who is already a scoundrel. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then
Yeah.
for him, how frustrating it is to deal with a mini version of himself.
Hmm.
You know, maybe a less adjusted because again, at this age, maybe she's hormonal or you never know.
Yeah.
Like teenagers, preteens, and like she's looking about that age where she's probably feeling the feelings, and he's just like, God, I can't reason with you, child, you know?
Yeah. And
And then with his personality on top of that. So it's like,
mhm.
oh,
And he was basically left to his own devices as a child too. So, you know,
the
he
cycle
he grew
continues.
up feral, and so he's trying to do the best he can, but he didn't have very good influences, and so, he's trying to pass down what lessons he's picked up, but then sometimes you offer those lessons and they get taken the wrong way. And like grandma taught them, like, it's not stealing if you don't get caught and things like that. Like grandma's not a good influence.
Nope.
So, grandma will be cooking up C4 before she cooks you breakfast. Like she's crazy and dangerous and not a great influence, but she's on the run for a reason. She's hiding at the end of time for reasons. And
Right.
but
That'll
we
be a
get
fun I want a mini story of grandma.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh, I've got a story that I started. I was gonna launch as a web comic like 6 or 7 years ago that has Buster and Grandma and all of this stuff in it, and the Traveler and all and Rabbit, and it was so cool. It's all black and white. I've thought about releasing that as a stretch goal if we get up to a
That's
particular
cool.
particular level and show a little bit more of the background and where things come from. I'll have to do a little bit of rewriting not to ruin some things that haven't been shown yet in this one. But I love these two covers with Captain Hook on them, and and Alice is just like, hey, how you
"Ah,
doing?
hi.
And it's
You remember me? We're friends." And
yeah.
she's just like, "I'm gonna kill
Sh
you."
like, not the slightest bit of fear she's gonna die. Like, nah, I can talk my way out of this. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna bat the eyelashes, and it's always worked before. I'm gonna survive this. And Hook is out for blood. And actually, that blood on the neck is actually directly from my cousin Gumby when we were kids. And the first time I ever got one of those extendable razor knives with like the break off blades, and
Yeah.
I was carving up this crazy device I was building, and my cousin Gumby was like, "Hey, can I see that?" And I was like, "Yeah, just be careful. It's sharp." He's like, "Oh, what am I gonna do? Cut my throat?" And then this little red line starts bleeding on his throat, and he had freaking cut his throat with it. And so yeah, that's exactly where that came from. I
Oops. Like, maybe don't play with knives unless you know how the knives work.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at
Uh,
this one.
and then there's the sexy pinup cover in Chasm City because I
Sexy.
love punishing myself and having to draw the crazy 1,000 layer tall Chasm City, which is just like it's like a break in the rocks between these two dimensions, and it's just cliff as high as you can go up and down, side to side, and the people that end up here, end up building these shanty towns, and it's grown into like this Wild West village in there. And there's all kinds of crazy places in here. The map is really cool.
Yeah.
Uh, it's available as an add-on and stuff, and like some of
Wow.
the tiers, and it shows you some of the different realms and stuff. This was drawn by Rabbit. It shows you some of the different pathways and realms and things, and gives you little hints into how different things work and how some places you can't get to through through magic. You can't cut portals like into the Emerald City, which is why it has like that pattern around it that
Hmm.
you can travel to it. You just can't cut a hole through reality and get there safely.
Got it.
And then other places are pocket dimensions and stuff that can only be gotten to certain ways, and the roads change as they go from one place to the other, and you'd expect it to come out this way, but it's not. And it's it's a lot of fun. I spent way too much time on that for it for it to be a spot in the script that was like, Rabbit has a
It's like a
map of
right.
Wonderland. It was
It's
in one
it's
panel.
attached to this mushroom. There it is.
And yeah, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And so I did it up right. I'm planning on another campaign to do Alice's map, which has a lot of extra sheets and stuff taped and stapled to it and stuff, and
Hilarious.
lots of her own notes that she's made over time.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a whole nother thing. But I'm looking forward
That's
to
so
that.
funny. Make your own tears. So yeah, you have some incredible stuff here. What is tell us, like what are some of your cool stuff? Like I have the hot sauce and I got the Funko Pops and the squishies, but what's cool that we can pick
Um,
up here?
the minis
Map,
are neat.
the minis?
I did
Ooh.
these D&D minis. These guys are kind of big scale. I did these at 200% so that they were easier to show on
Wait.
camera. But I made minis of Alice and Big Ten for the first one,
Wow.
and this time around we've got Rabbit, which is in the mail. Actually, come to think of it, I bet you that's what's in the box in the living room that I didn't open yet.
Oh,
I'll bet you that's what that is.
cool.
But we got Rabbit. I also have Captain Hook ready to go.
Cool.
So if we get to the first stretch goal, she's going to get released. We've got this new T-shirt design that was designed specifically for the T-shirt, designed specifically just to look cool as a shirt, be a cool image, not reusing something that I've already got from a cover or something. Like this is specifically for that, and I really like that. We're doing hats this time around, and
Yeah.
they're actual like fitted caps, so they will like be sized to like what you want, like go from small all the way up to double extra large so you can fit my big giant head. And it has Cheshire's lovely face on it. um I absolutely love that, so I'm looking forward to doing those.
Cool.
Oh, talking about live unboxing over there in the
Yeah, I
comments,
was gonna say he wants to see you unbox the thing.
you need to, if you back this, I'm telling you, you want to back and get the deluxe shipping box. Like
Mhm.
get the t-shirt and stuff so that you get the deluxe box, because the deluxe box is cool, and I'm trying to make it an experience. I want to make it something that, is like, wow, this is really cool. I'm looking forward to getting another package from Mr. Fish Comics. You can get the minis physically printed, or you can get them as STL files, so you can print them yourself for personal use. Like if you want to go to the library and print them out on a 3D printer there or something, or you have one, you can do that, and it's a cheaper way. And you can get those on the digital tier, which is fun. There's delayed shipping for people overseas, or just, I have people in this country that do it all the time and
Yeah.
just want to save up and have me ship all the books at the end of the year. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
great. And like for one of my backers in Singapore, it's just as easy. It costs the same amount for me to ship him one book as £3. So
So
I'm
we
just
might
going to
as
ship
well.
everything at the end of the
Yeah.
year, and I return his shipping at the end of the campaign. And
Cool.
he gets to save that $35 until the end of the year for
Yeah.
sure.
And if you like this story, which of course you guys know I like this story, there's other stuff by
Mhm.
Fish out there, like the Green Zone and
The Mighty Call of the
the Mighty
Cro-Magnon,
Call.
which is like bloody Saturday morning cartoon fun. There's Fishtails, which is an anthology series where the Alice story started. Um,
Gilbert's in. He would like to do a cover for you.
I tell you, I've been looking for some talented artists, creators that might want to do some cover trades too, because I
Oh,
would love to do some covers for somebody else's book, in trade for some cool covers for mine, because that's always
interesting.
fun to do. There's the t-shirts for everything that you can get, along with the new t-shirt. There's the old comic bundle that you can get.
Cool.
And the mini comics for all the other series are basically like introductions to the story. Like, this is who this character is, this is what's going on in this world. And a nice way for like kids to be able to check it out at cons and get something they could afford easily. The Alice story is a whole new story. So it is a whole new thing, not just like an introduction. It is a whole separate little adventure. And then there's the acrylic standee figures that you can get. I
Those
do
are
not.
cool.
I
I
would.
was
I
I
they
was
would.
like I
I would
kinda
have to
looked at
see
it for
how
a
public
second, like,
domain
why
they
would
are.
that be there? And then I was like, "Okay, well, I mean, there's other like Captain Hook and other,
Yeah.
characters that kinda walk through your story." So I was like, "Oh, no, that's a valid question." Yeah.
If
So I was
I
just
don't-
curious.
is if Maleficent is like public domain and not a Disney creation,
Disney
that
creation
would be
owned by
really cool.
Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Like
that's
Jafar, I would think would be a Disney creation
Disney.
for that movie,
Right.
but
And that's
Aladdin
part of
isn't.
this too, is if it's public domain, then Fish can
Yeah.
have it, and if it's Disney, then we can't touch
And the
those.
f the fun thing is a lot of these are characters that I've been working on for 30 years or been
Yeah.
using in my role-playing games and stuff, and then when I had this idea for a Alice Lost in Wonderland story, and I had my time traveling barbarian story, and I realized if I put the 2 together, and if I take the daughter that he adopted out and put Alice there, then I get access to all this cool interdimensional,
Yeah.
like, public domain stuff that I can bring all in together, and I can have her face off against Frankenstein and all kinds of things, and which would be really cool. And then I could turn the story and tell it from her perspective instead of his, and
Mhm.
I don't have to wait so long to get to the drama. I can just get to, like, she already kind of hates him and wants to get back at him, and that makes it even more fun. And so, yeah,
We're all here for the drama. I know, it's like, I mean, that's what good stories are about. I maybe not so much as like I tried to watch 24 at some point, and I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack because there was a little too much drama. Like, everybody's world was collapsing all the time, and I was like, "Oh, I need a break." But, like, this your story is a nice, flow to it. There's Alice and Tin trying to figure stuff out and then acting out these just and again, I love a good cockamamie plan that people are like, "This'll work," and it's like, "This is not gonna work."
yeah,
In
and
fact, everything
like her
blows up.
plans at best are not well thought out,
No.
and her means of trying to get information out of people is not terribly successful. She usually is pretty good at either like teasing information out of people. She's not afraid to use her good looks to her advantage, and or scaring information out of people. But when neither of those work, she's kind of like it's triggers and hand grenades at that point.
That's amazing. Let's just real quick, I wanna make sure the team gets some recognition, it's super
Absolutely.
important. Of
Uh,
course, Fish is the creator, illustrator, publisher, all of those hats.
mhm,
Um, wow. Writer and illustrator is such an amazing feat because usually you can find someone that's good at one and not the other,
mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
you wear both of those hats and you do it amazingly well.
It
So,
has been
kudos
so
to you.
funny to get so many compliments like, "Oh my god, I just love issue 2. The world seems so much richer and more expansive." And I'm like, "Thank you," because that's the script that TS wrote and not me.
Oh,
But because he came in and wrote the script on issue 2 because he was my editor already. I took this dude on. I When I met him and read some of his stuff, I was instantly like, I'm keeping this guy close. Like when I met
mhm,
you and saw how
mhm.
smart you were and how creative you were with your I was like, I'm keeping her close. I want to be friends with her. And I did the same thing with him. And I brought him on as my editor, and we were already talking out the story arc. And I had my hands full with client work and stuff. And I was like, do you want to write the script? And he's like, are you sure you're okay? Like, it's your baby.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not that precious with it. And like, you're playing with my toys in my sandbox. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, you can have fun, man. You know, like we had already plotted out what we need to happen, what the beats are. But the way he puts those beats together is so much different than the way I would. And he puts
Right.
stuff together, and then that inspires my imagination. And then he's like, oh, well, if we're going to do that, let's add this. And then, it just gets so much more creative than it ever would have been with me alone in the house by myself. My son Bear got to color half of the first issue, which was really awesome for him because he grew up hearing these stories his whole life, and now getting to actually work on them was a big deal for him. I would love to bring him back on full time as colorist, but he's got 2 jobs right now and
Ah,
not a lot of
shoot.
free time.
Yeah. I mean, and kudos to all the flatters out there.
Oh my god.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Flatting is such an important job because it speeds up the process. And so
I thought it was
flatters
so silly. I thought it was ridiculous. When I heard like, I would watch colorist on YouTube, and they're like, "I just got these pages back from my flatter." And I was like, "Why would you pay somebody to do something like that when you just color it? How much money do you have to throw away?" And then I got in a
until
bind on something, and I was like, "Okay, I need help, so I'm gonna try this out." And she had just hit me up and messaged me. Hannah Shanqui is one of the most amazing people. I love her. Uh, she sent me back stuff that was just expertly flatted. The colors are always right. The lines are always nice and clean. I can send her references of in color sheets, and she'll have like the main characters pretty much all the right colors that they need to be,
yeah.
and then I can just go in and do shading and stuff, and change the tint for the background, make it all work. And she, I got I was planned for a month and a half for the book I was working on for a client. I hired her for that book, and I was done in 12 days. And I have never
Wow.
gone back. I've used her ever since. The whole reason Green Zone exists is because she got me done in half the time, and then I had like 4 weeks free. And my wife was like, you need to do one of your own books. And, so I knocked out Green Zone, and
Mhm.
I've been using her on absolutely everything ever since. I'm so spoiled now. If I have to do it without her, I am complaining the entire time, typing it
You're like,
myself.
"I can do it,
Who
but I
is
won't
too cheap
like
to
it.
be able to pay? Oh, it's ridiculous. I
I don't
shouldn't have
like
to
it.
do this. I'm
I
used to
don't like
working with
it."
professionals.
Hilarious. So yes, let's look at some of these tiers. I always start at the bottom. Full library and ultimate swag pack for 225. Is this basically your kitchen sink? Because look at this picture. It has everything.
Oh,
My
yeah.
goodness.
It's got, like, all 16 or 17 issues now, I can't remember.
It says
It has
50
them
items included.
it has the physicals, it has the digitals, it has all of the mini comics with it, it has
Oh
physical
my
prints of
gosh.
all of the 3D minis, it has the 2 limited edition posters, it has the, Mr. Fish Comics hoodie, it has the new T-shirt, it has the hat, it has absolutely everything in it for that.
Wow. Amazing. We have
And then
Alice number 3 fit pack.
yeah,
All
that
covers
has
of
the
issue 3,
jacket.
hat, t-shirt, hoodie, Alice mini comics. You guys
Mhm.
go look at these. Full library swag pack. This is amazing too. The Mr. Fish comic book library t-shirt and 2 posters. This will
Yeah.
definitely get you that deluxe box too. And trust
Oh
me
yeah.
when I say I want the deluxe box as well. I want to see all of the stuff that Fish. We've talked. You guys haven't seen this, but he and I have talked behind the scenes about what he puts together, how these boxes are constructed, and the things that he
Mhm.
does to them. And
And, like, I really wanna make it an experience. Like, I want you
yeah.
all the way through the package from the time you open it to the time you take the books out. I want it to be an enjoyable experience that you're gonna remember. And so I put a lot of work into it. Uh, there's, posters and things that you can get with it. You can get all the covers, all kinds of neat stuff available. There's, just the t-shirt and the ketchups and the minis and mini comic and all kinds of different variations at all kinds of different price points. There's the
Mhm.
catch-up tiers, physical and digital. There's the digital deluxe pack that has all of the digital STL files, including one
Cool.
for the Mighty Caw that's only
Nice.
available there.
Look.
And access. This is one where if you're not a puzzle solver, but you want to see the special messages from Rabbit, like the one from issue 2 and the one that'll be in issue 3, you'll get them in that pack if you want to get that digital
Ooh.
pack. If you want it easy, that's your cheat code right there to get it all.
I never thought of that. Maybe I do something like that too. See, again, my unintentional muse Fish, where it's like, I put if you don't want to solve the riddles, but you still want the information, here's how you get it. So
Iron
this
sharpens
is
iron,
me. Hey,
baby. I'm
sugar.
telling you, good minds, creative minds,
Mhm.
inspire.
Hey, George Medina, how are you, sir?
What up?
Nice to see everybody coming through. So, yes, my friends, that is, of course, Alice Lost in Wonderland. I can talk. 1 through 3. And
Yeah.
again, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but these are not just I mean, like, I do 24-page books. These are 32.
Mhm.
It's a good chunk. So when you're looking at the price point of these, keep that in mind. You're getting more
And
pages.
all my tiers have domestic shipping included in them,
Mhm.
so there's not an extra add-on afterwards for it. I just I like to keep the numbers as simple as possible, like, I wanna know what I'm getting going into it and not be like, "Oh, well, yeah, okay, I'll get the $35 one," and then realize there's a $15 charge for shipping
Yeah.
on top of it. So,
And listen,
domestically, everything's included, and it's a big fat book. The new ones have a square back on them too, which is cool. I like for
do
still being
they?
saddle stitched,
Let me see.
and they're being printed in America in Arkansas. They're like uh
Yeah,
30
yeah.
minutes down the road from me in Little Rock. So it is so nice being able to just text somebody local and ask questions and get updates and get pictures of, what's going on. And, you know, Arkansas is his native tongue, so there's no like, dialogue delay or anything.
I mean,
And
it is Arkansas, though, I don't know.
well, again, it's Arkansas
Just
is his native
teasing.
tongue. I didn't say English.
Don't come at
I
me,
didn't go that
people.
far.
I live in Texas.
But it was such a nice experience, and like the books were printed in 3 days. And so that was just
Raul is
so
having
nice.
some fun in the chat, by the way. He says, I need pinup art. Hit me up, Alice. Take the risks. Like, oh, Sugar showed up. Tell Alice I say hi. Raul, thank you for the entertainment. So, my goodness. Um, go show this campaign some love, you guys. I feel like there's so many hardworking creators out there. And you hear me harp on this that I hate Hollywood right now with the reboot, recycle, prequel, sequel. I say it almost every week, right?
Mhm.
Because they're not giving us what we want, and what we want is good, original, new entertainment. Where is it? You know where it is. It's here in Indy.
Oh, that's why
Here it is.
indie comics are pretty much all I read anymore, because that's
Yeah,
where the cool weird stuff happens.
it
That's what I
is.
always wanted to do. Like I was the weird cat that didn't want to go work for Marvel or DC. Like everybody wanted to draw Spider-Man or Batman, which is great. Go do that. I'm happy
Right.
for you. I will cheer your success like nobody else. I just that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do my own Ninja Turtles or, my
Mhm.
own Judge Dredd or, Cerebus or, like I wanted to tell my own weird black and white story on a newsprint comic, like that's what I wanted to do. I didn't realize the whole world was going to change to color for indie comics, by the time I actually got to do it. So I had to learn how to color. But, you know, I,
Done.
this is what I always wanted to do. And I could not be more ecstatic to be telling my own stories and stuff. It's just, it's hard to get eyes on it and realize that, this is a cool story because there's a lot of stuff out there in indie comics and there's a handful of really good stuff in indie comics and
Yes.
finding those pale of the path writers among all the other things that are out there can be tough sometimes, but when you find it, well, you hold on to it and you don't let go.
Right. And it's I mean, again, I feel like people ask for new stuff and
Hmm.
then we give it to them, but they gotta put their dollars where their mouth is.
Hmm.
I'll say it like it is. It's like, "You want new stuff? We gotta show places like Hollywood that this is where we want what we
Oh
want
yeah.
by backing it up with dollars, because the where you spend your dollars is where they're gonna be looking, right?"
Hmm. Oh yeah, that's it. And where the followers are, where the people that
That's
are
where it
coming and commenting on
matters.
the posts and sharing the posts and stuff, like where you have an engaged fan base. Like this is the second campaign I've put out this year that one of my fans has done a fan art video for, like done a
Cool.
whole rap song for, and took my video that I made for the Kickstarter and took like all the pages and stuff. I gave him access to like all kinds of high res, no lettered pages so he could have good artwork to use because
Mhm.
he always makes fun stuff. And I love the guy and he loves my work. He's just devoted to the story. He's so excited about it. And to have somebody else be that excited about a story that I came up with that's been burning a hole in my brain for 30 years is that's why I do this. That's the whole
Yes.
reason I'm doing this for. And
Yes.
he's made such awesome videos. It's just it brings me joy. And
And it's
everybody that reads it and gets into it loves it and digs it. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that would rather have it all like laid out in front of them, spelled out neatly and not have any questions or have to figure anything out. That's that's
that's
not what this is.
boring.
Yeah. This isn't Sesame Street. This is more
Ah.
complex. But if you like that, if you like Doctor Who, if you like The Walking Dead, if you like those kind of things, then this is the book for you. Like I
Mhm.
started saying, it's like if Michonne from The Walking Dead and Tank Girl had a baby that was raised by Jesse James in a TARDIS.
Oh my
Like
god, that's hilarious.
that's
Um,
that's who she is.
yeah.
She's beautiful, she's dangerous, she's a little crazy, and she's been raised by a time traveling outlaw with no rules. And you know, it's a hell of a ride.
Yes, yes. I'm really looking forward to this issue, and need I remind people that because fish is so fast, this is one that you're gonna back and you're gonna get very quickly, especially
Oh yeah.
because his printer is local. So one more time with that campaign, here it is, you guys. Go do your thing. This is I promise you, this is your next favorite read.
Oh
If
yeah.
you like
It's
what I like, here you go.
you can
Devour.
trust Lori's taste on this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not just saying it because it's my love story that I've been working on for years, but it's good.
It's
I am
good.
so proud of the work in this. I'm so proud of the artwork I've done on this. I'm so proud of how complex the story has gotten because I had so much time to marinate over it and let
Mhm.
it get more complex than just a power fantasy of what if you gave a barbarian a sword that could travel time and there's no rules. Like now it's about generational trauma and it's about trying to do the best you can raising a kid on your own. And and how you find out by the end of it, like she's got legit reasons to be hurt, she's got legit
Yeah.
reasons to be upset and to
Oh,
be
I'm
this
sure she does. I cannot
and
wait to see the trauma that he did so we
yeah.
can find
and
out the
and
why.
sometimes it's from the best of intentions, but also
Doesn't
when
matter,
you're a
yeah.
time traveler, you always think, well, I can always just go back to, the last time I was there, but then that time gets further and further away that you've spent running around, and you try and hit that time you left, and maybe you missed it by a year. I
Mhm.
mean, like, things happen, and you know i-
That happens in issue 2, so you guys have to get issue 2 to go read it. We gotta wrap the show up. Fish and I could literally talk about this for another hour. You don't bet us, because
easily,
we could, like, easily.
easily.
Easily. But remember, go back the project here. This is the most important time for Fish, is when he is running a campaign. This guarantees that we get this book. But where else can people find you?
I am Mr. Fish Comics on all social media. You can follow my Mr. Fish Comics page on YouTube. I'm back to doing my weekly School of Fish art stream on Wednesdays at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, with my buddy Esteban Carrero from Ultra Comics. And so you get input from a young artist, from an old head, from somebody who's using an iPad, from somebody who uses Clip Studio on a PC. And you're getting input from two different creators. We've been working on character design the last few weeks. We're going to start rolling up some random characters, and and then, like, each creating a design off of that random set of powers that we got, and see what
Cool.
each of us comes up with. It's a lot of fun, always giving away cool information and cool stuff that you can download on the Patreon for free, like assets and stuff that you can use in Clip Studio to build your own buildings and background brushes and all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah,
Cool.
and go mrfish.com will always take you to the latest book, which right now is Alice 3 on Kickstarter.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And that, my friends, is the show. Join us next week. I'm going to have Ian Miller on the show. And if you're not familiar with Ian Miller, please tune in. He's got a story to share with you. Be excellent to each other. Kiss your babies, and we'll catch you here next week. Bye.
Ozzy, Ozzy, what are you doing? Come and have a look at this lovely book that was sent over.
You're wrapping in the perpendicular.
Oh, go on and spit the bat out your mouth. No one can understand you like that.
Very now, say how 5 dentists and all.
Oh, well, that's not much better. Ozzy, why don't you sing to me? I can always understand you when you sing to me.
Fucking my brains. What is this my publisher sent me? Inked in black with art so sweet.
So what do you think? Do you like it?
Oh, Lord, yeah.